By the 1540s, he had pushed his borders to Central Europe, North Africa, and Persia. He owned virtually all of the Mediterranean, but he could go no farther. His soldiers could fight only when the weather permitted. Refusing to winter his army so far from his capital, Suleiman marched back each autumn to Istanbul. He could conquer only as much land as he could cross before the leaves turned, and no more. The European frontier settled uneasily between Budapest and Vienna. Unable to expand his empire, Suleiman enriches it on a scale never seen. He plucks a promising engineer from the ranks of the Janissaries and makes him court architect. Like Michelangelo, who at the same time labored in Rome for Pope Paul III, Sinan was one of those gifted men fortunate to have a wealthy patron, and they didn't come any wealthier than Suleiman. Like Suleiman, Sinan had spent the first half of his life as a soldier. Like Suleiman, he would spend the second half as a builder. And he builds everywhere. His work continued for 50 years. He carried on through the reign of Suleiman and his successor, and his successor. Sinan labored right up to his death at the age of 99. Almost 500 projects would bear his name, more than any other architect in history. He resurrected cities that Suleiman's father had destroyed. He built roads and bridges, fountains and stadiums, hostels and mausoleums. At Mecca, one of the capitals of the three great religions in Suleiman's empire, Sinan constructed buildings to house hundreds of thousands of pilgrims. At Jerusalem, he rebuilt the city walls and refurbished the Dome of the Rock, the temple at the site where Mohammed is said to have risen to heaven. Outside Istanbul, Sinan built an aqueduct as grand as any ever built by Rome. From distant hills, it carried fresh water for 70 miles into what had become the largest city in Europe. Istanbul benefited most from Suleiman's passion for building. Under Sinan, the skyline was transformed. He created a dazzling new mosque in honor of Suleiman's new Grand Vizier, Rustem Pasha. It was ornamented throughout with 100,000 of the famous blue and white tiles from the Turkish town of Iznik. Never had anyone lavished such splendor on the inside of a mosque. Here, Sinan paid tribute to Allah and showed off the wealth of the empire, as clearly as if he had lined the walls with money. He then drafted plans for another new mosque, this one dedicated to Suleiman himself. It would be the crowning glory of their remarkable partnership. Work started in 1550, 4 years after Michelangelo began the Dome of St. Peter's. Sinan proceeded without a budget. For Suleiman, money was no object. The design was a feat of genius. The roof was made up of 4 domes, together supporting a 5th central dome 150 feet above the ground. Sinan meant to prove that Ottoman architects could match anything built by Europeans, and he did. Suleiman's patronage gave the imperial architect unlimited manpower and unlimited resources. It took just 7 years for him to transform his masterwork from paper to stone. Michelangelo would labor on St. Peter's for 7 more. The Suleimani Mosque is much more than a place of worship. It is a marvel of city planning. Spread over a square mile are hospitals and bathhouses, colleges of medicine, science, and law. Fittingly, the tallest structure in the city stands on Istanbul's highest hill. When the mosque was shown to visitors from Rome, one wrote, "Nowhere is there so much beauty, external and internal, to be found united." To decorate the dome, Suleiman chose a favorite passage from the Quran. God is the light of the heavens and the earth, light upon light. God guides to his light whom he will.